host, Nicole Mangina with Windermere Real Estate. This is your spot to be for all things real estate and lifestyle related. Thank you for joining us today. I always start with a real estate update, and it's interesting. My phone started ringing over the weekend. You know, as we're getting towards this, they're starting to loosen the restrictions and things are starting to open up after this whole stay in place thing. The reality is real estate's been moving this whole time. We've got some interesting stats that I'll post on the website after the show, NicoleMangina.com/podcast. But the listings are down about 20%, but the absorption rate, meaning the rate at which properties are selling, is actually higher than it usually is. So there's not as much coming on the market, but the buyers are definitely still out there. And like I said, had a lot of phone calls from clients over the weekend. Some people had put things on pause a little. Let's just wait, see how this whole thing plays out. And sure enough, it's back. People are out looking. When I was out showing property this weekend, it was nice. Everybody was out. It was such good weather. Everybody was out walking, and it's good to see everybody out and about. So there you go. That's your real estate update for the week. If you have questions, if you're thinking about buying or selling real estate, I always invite you to reach out. I'm happy to answer your questions, help you come up with a game plan. You can reach me via email, nicole@nicolemangina.com. There you go. I'm excited to introduce our guest today. She's on our show for the second time, so it's an honor and a pleasure to have you here. Welcome, Hannah Talbot. How are you?
Hi, doing pretty good. Good.
Yeah. I'm so excited to have you. Oh, go ahead.
Thank you. I was just saying thank you for having me. I'm excited. This is always so fun, Nicole. This is a different vibe than last time, but you know, we're rolling.
I know. Last time we were in the studio. Today, now we're doing a Zoom call. I was sharing, if you're watching the Facebook Live today, these days I travel via my Zoom backgrounds. Today I'm in San Francisco. Next week, I'll be somewhere else.
Maybe somewhere tropical.
Exactly.
Love it.
But you are a yoga master, a Reiki master, and you were on the show before with your tribe life events, with your parties and everything that you host. But now you have a new center opening up in Issaquah that I'm super excited for you. And I'm excited to share this with everybody because I think it's going to be important now more than ever, especially as we kind of venture out of our houses. And, you know, we've all been working in weird desks and everything. There's a little bit of realignment and reintegration that needs to happen for all of us. Oh my gosh.
So true. I know. I can't wait. You know, some days it's like, it's not so bad. It's not bad. Well, I say days, right? It's usually more like hours. You know, some hours it's not so bad, and then some hours it's like, man, I am going stir crazy. I just need to see some other faces. I love you guys, but
yeah.
Thank you so much for having me. It's so great. I guess I'll maybe just touch on kind of the transition.
That would be awesome.
Last time we talked a lot about the main focus of Tribe Life events, which was these personally curated events that had yoga, some sort of heartfelt activity that we would do to connect and sort of honor whatever we were celebrating, whether it was like a birthday party or bachelorette or lots of bridal showers, that kind of thing. And the business just really grew and kind of got all of these little branches to it. And so it's evolved now to the Anam Cara Healing Center, which is basically just going to be kind of a house for everything that I do and a way to share it with the community. And, you know, I started off initially thinking that I would open up a yoga studio in Issaquah. That was kind of how I started the path 5 years ago and got into teacher training, was with that mindset. And then I realized I could do things mobily and didn't have to quite, need to invest hundreds of thousands of dollars into the studio just yet. And so it just kept evolving, and it evolved into a lot of workshops. So I would go into a lot of different studios, yoga studios, and host workshops as a way to connect and talk about whatever I was studying or learning, and as a way to promote Tribe Life events. And so lots of workshops, lots of classes. It turned into lots of trainings, doing lots of collaborations with a lot of other healers and teachers and coaches in the Seattle area. And then mindfulness for the workplace also became a part of my business, where I go in and I actually teach teams about how to be more mindful in their workday. Coming from 20 years of management and HR, it just made total sense. So, and then Reiki, I became a Reiki master, and they all really integrate well together. Yoga and Reiki are kind of go hand in hand. Reiki is energy healing, and it's literally just a light laying of hands on the body, and it energetically changes, kind of tunes your frequency up, if you will. I also say it's kind of one of the best meditations you can do, because having someone hold that space for you in a session, it's like a 60-minute session, you're just able to completely drop in a totally different way than trying to, hey, go sit down on your pillow and meditate for 60 minutes all by yourself. It's a completely different experience. Yeah, right? So I'm with you. So they all just kind of go hand in hand. And I've always had this, it's always been, everyone who knows me really well, though, has known that it's always been about opening a space. Like, eventually I'm going to have a space. And so it evolved into this healing center. And so we're starting with a small space. It's just 420 square feet, just a little baby. But I'll be able to have a room, there's an area where I can have my Reiki table set up and an intake area to talk with clients before, and then have them actually lay down on the table. There'll be a little, some area for selling a lot of different things that I would prescribe, if you would, to my clients. Different books, crystals, herbs. I have a lot of friends that are makers in the area, and so like elderberry syrup and lemon balm honey, and lots of different things like that, where we're really kind of taking our health into our own hands, and like quite literally. And then it'll have an open space for workshops, the personally curated events. I won't teach regular yoga classes because we have so many yoga studios in the area, but I'll do, some one-off stuff, and then I'll teach regular meditation classes. So that'll happen weekly, a couple times a week for people to come in. And then, I'll host workshops and trainings, but the idea is that it's a community space. And so other people can come in and bring, their classes and their community. And it really is this way to sort of like, I'm kind of opening the space that I was always looking for. I'm always looking for a space to either rent for the personally curated event or a place to host my workshop. And so people can rent the space and use it for their workshops, and we can also do collaborations. So it really is this kind of, it's a healing center. So I'm so excited. It's obviously on hold, but I can't wait to share it.
That's so amazing. I'm so excited for you to have this all come together.
Thank you. Yeah, they really do. It's like I do a lot of different things, but it's all, the mission has always been the same, which is to root people in their heart center, so that they take that out into their family, into their community, and we show up in a different way. And so it's like, it all goes back to that. And then each one, mindfulness and yoga and Reiki and meditation, they all are hand in hand, right? So it's been fun to just let it kind of grow and become what it is. And that's also, I know that when we talk again in another couple months, it'll be like, and I'm doing this thing now too. Yeah. So,
but it's a beautiful layering effect. Yeah. Because all of these modalities and different things really fit so well together. And I think it's great for people to learn about these things and then experience them as well. I love yoga. Yeah. And there's so many days when, that really is my thing. But there's also something about just receiving Reiki as well. Yeah. There's kind of an energetic rebalancing and just a physical fitness that comes from yoga. Yes. But like you said, you put it perfectly with Reiki, it's almost like going through a really deep meditation, but having somebody hold that space for you is really super powerful. And it's much different than if you decided to meditate for an hour on your own, even if you did a guided meditation, which sometimes is a little easier to stay focused. That the Reiki portion of it and having someone else there to hold that space is it's different and it's powerful.
It's so true. And yeah, they really are. Each one is just another layer. It's been this, I'm a forever student, and I get to just keep learning and learning, and whatever and I think that we're all on this similar path, right? Like yoga,
Oh, yep.
There we go. Some little Zoom issues.
I know. So we've got things going through. I know. So we're getting everything worked out with technology. But like Anna was saying, yoga, it's that physical practice. Reiki, you get to receive a little bit more. And I think this is going to be a really good and important thing for more people to have access to as we kind of reintegrate into life, because I think it's going to be interesting. I'm noticing for myself that there are just a lot of different things that are coming up, even emotionally, as we're looking at reopening things. I know for myself, the shutting down part was actually not that hard.
Right.
In some ways, it was really nice to just have the opportunity to go take a break and dial back a little bit. We've gotten so much more time as a family, just simple things like family dinner every night has been really, really great for us. And then, as we're looking at opening things up, it's kind of how do you take the good parts of the things that have happened during this slowdown. We've been calling it a shutdown, but really I think a slowdown is probably a better term for it, because there's lots of things that have still continued to move, but we are definitely moving at a different pace. So as things have slowed down, what are the nice things that have come out of that? What are the things that we want to carry forward into our daily lives as things start to open up and as the pace of life picks up a little bit? How are we going to integrate those things so that it doesn't have to be an all or nothing? Is there a way to have all of this work together? And, sometimes some parts of that feel easy, but there are different things and different ways of resistance that can come up. So if you've got something like yoga, or you've got something like meditation or Reiki, that can be just a really helpful thing as we're reintegrating back into life as we knew it, life as we know it, life as however it's going to look, in the coming months as things kind of get back to it.
I think it was really nice these last few weeks, as far as for me, especially with my boys and stuff like that, just slowing down, taking time on understanding what their life is all about. I don't get the day-to-day as much as their mom does. I usually have the afternoon kind of after, hours. So it's really cool to really get engaged with them, slow down. And I think a lot of us are doing that, especially around these times. And yeah, I think it'll slowly get back into it. But, from dealing with all like the rat race action, it's been actually very thoughtful, so to speak.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think we've got our guest back too.
Yes.
Yay.
Yeah, hi guys, we'll try again. Speaking of
Take three.
Resiliency, huh? Well, it sounds like you guys are talking right up my alley, though, which is that this whole thing is really our chance to put all of our practices into place. Like this is the yoga off the mat kind of deal.
It is. And, one of the things I was chatting about as you were kind of looping back in is just there's things that come up, right? There's going to be emotions and thoughts and different situations that are kind of new, and some are going to be awesome and some are going to potentially create a little bit of resistance or a little bit of how do I deal with that now? This is new kind of thing. And having something like Reiki and, meditation and someone who can help be your guide to go through all of those things, I think is going to be more important now than ever.
Yeah. Well, so the Anam Cara, that's basically what the definition of an Anam Cara is. It's your soul friend. And it's really just somebody who, yeah, is there to connect with you on a deeper level and kind of help guide you to, yeah, to your highest self. And yeah, I can't agree more that, you know, it's interesting. Of course, we all think about, you know, where we're going to be at financially when this is over, and how are our businesses shifting, and you know, all of us, doesn't matter what market you're in, we're thinking about it. And so with the wellness world, I believe it's one of the industries that grew quite exponentially during the 2008 crisis, because it was like, we're all stressed. We need the outlet. Like, that's when yoga really got popular in the United States, was around the recession. So we'll see. But I agree with you that now is the time to really lean into all of this, and getting to create community around that is
Yeah, it's really, really helpful. And makes a huge difference to know that you're not alone, and to be able to go through this with some kind of structure and framework, I think is really, really perfect.
Sorry, guys. Did I lose you again for a second?
A little bit, but now you're back. Benny and I have been commenting that when your screen freezes, you always have the best look on your face.
You do. She's crushed it. Like, she's like 10 for 10 pretty much. I mean, when you look at a larger number.
You're very photogenic, even with a frozen screen.
Yeah, we're super jealous.
I'll just keep a smile on my face the whole time, and that'll help. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. It's it is such a it's been interesting, right, to do this kind of work via Zoom, because my whole platform is community, and obviously one-on-one is you know, my work. So it's been definitely interesting to sort of shift and try some things. Like, you know, I've never Zoomed so much. I'm sure all of us, you know, it's,
right.
You know, we're really having to, and technology, just trying to make friends with technology.
Each week I feel like I've learned a new skill, and
right?
I've got my little thing to celebrate at the end of the week.
So true. Yeah.
Is it in bottle shape?
What was that?
Is it a bottle shape?
Yes.
I figured.
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
No, I'm complimenting.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, it'll be as we are kind of, I heard at the beginning when you were introducing and talking about real estate, just how things are shifting even just a little bit this last week, with the idea that, you know, we're
it's noticeable how much things have shifted, even I would say in the last 3 to 4 days, of people being out and about, and it's kind of like their confidence is coming back. It's interesting. There seems to be times, like I said, oh, there you are. You're back.
That's okay.
You guys are so good at this. You're so good at, you just keep it rolling. I love it.
Absolutely. So are you doing, speaking of Zoom, are you doing kind of remote Reiki because you don't have to physically be there for Reiki, right?
Yeah. You know, I'm actually not doing a ton of remote sessions.
Okay.
Because you can't, honestly, just because I kind of have took the message to, like, let's just slow down. I got to focus on my family. I'm a homeschool teacher now. So
yes,
we're all in that boat, right? And just, I really am taking this time to lean into more studying. Right now I'm working on getting into a little bit of sound healing with tuning forks. And so I'm doing a couple of different, you know, programs to study that. And then, you know, I'm kind of doing one sort of like, you know, I'll do I've been working with Techies Plus Wellness, which is a great organization here in the Seattle area that really bridges the sort of wellness world with the techie world. And so I've been doing a weekly meditation with them. And I taught a Reiki 1 course where I actually attuned people, and they are now certified and can do Reiki. And have been attuned to that. So that was really cool. So a little, you know, but I'm really not, I'm fortunate that, you know, I'm able to kind of take a little break and take a little breather and slow down a little bit. So
That's wonderful. It's,
yeah.
you know, somebody posted a quote, and I can't remember the exact quote and who originally said it, but it was something to the effect of, you know, basically we always are seeking to grow and change and do something new and different. But the reality is that growth only happens when there's space. And we almost never give ourselves space.
Yep.
Either we're too nervous to do it, or life is just moving at a pace where that's an increasingly difficult thing to achieve, right? To really have, and more than like, I blocked out 2 hours on my calendar, I'm going to create something amazing. Some, you know, true growth and creation needs an extended amount of space for that to happen. And, you know, if we can lean into that and take that time right now to do that, it's great. And I love that you're playing with different things and, you know, figuring out how you want to integrate them.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, my husband sometimes jokes with me. He's like, well, you just got to do your meditation and yoga class. I'm like, yeah, that is my work. So,
right.
But it really is. It's like, no, I'm studying and kind of being my own guinea pig first, so that then I can take this and share it with the community and with clients. And but I do think that the message of this whole thing is slow down. We're all being forced to slow down in ways that we have never done in our entire lives. And so I'm watching myself when I have this, kind of addiction to like fill the space. What next? Like making a huge to-do list when it's like, it's just me. Like nobody's holding me to any of this stuff. So yeah.
Yeah. Isn't that fascinating when you get that time to step back and realize how many things you put on your list just because you thought you were supposed to, or it's what everybody else has on their to-do list. But
to just sit and be like, yesterday I was sitting out on my porch and sitting in the swing, and I was like, I should go do this. I should, I could call her. I could get this done. It was like, what if you could just sit here and not look at your phone and not get up and just sit here? It's incredible how often that is actually the challenge, is stillness. So I'm trying to lean into that message. And I think that, look at our planet, it's responding. And there's cities that, pollution has cleared. We're able to see the Himalayan mountain range. Like, Mother Earth is like, thank you. So slowing down as much as I can with a little grain of salt, of course, like we're all parents here. So
right. I know. Yes. And the homeschooling thing is just, well, we're working through it. Every day seems to be a new technology adventure for the kids as well, and they're supposed to have the technology dialed in, and even for them, it's a new adventure every day.
Yeah. It's, I only have one little dude and he's in 2nd grade, so it's not too intense, but we've certainly all been put into a position and that we weren't, necessarily ready for, and didn't think we'd signed up for. And so, and I think you guys were talking about that, it's like how this thing is really a self-study, because it's like you're whoever your housemates are. For me, it's my husband and child. This is affecting them too, and it's not just about my emotions. It's like, you and trying to not take things personal, and kind of like noticing like, oh, you're a little bit annoyed this hour, you need some space. Okay, I see. It's definitely interesting, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I know. It's very fast. I've been journaling more the last couple of weeks and just trying to write all the notes down of what's happening and how I feel. Each week seems to have a theme for kind of a thought process in our house, right? Whether we're rolling with it, we're a little punchy.
Yep.
So it's been a great thing to just journal on.
So true. Yeah. I think that is, writing, getting outside and literally putting your feet in the ground, and like, or just getting outside at least, even just for a few minutes, journaling, writing, moving your body a little bit in whatever way feels good to you. Of course, I love yoga, and I think it's such a great, I've leaned into more yoga recently, which is great because I haven't had the time, like you said. So yeah, all of those things are just so good for us, because even if you have everything on lockdown, like, like your money is secure, your home's secure, you know, even if all those things are secure and you're not in crisis, we're all in this, you know, this is, I've been saying it's a grief process, you know, there's loss,
Mhm.
and grief is not a linear path. It's this big old circle. And
Yeah, it is. It's very interesting to see how we go through this and kind of the stages of grief and the things that are good, the things you want to maintain more of, and then the things you're more than ready to let go of.
A big circle.
Yes. The circle of life lived out in 6 weeks or 7 weeks, however long we are into this thing.
who knows anymore? My goodness.
I know. It's nuts.
It
So
really
I am so happy to have had you on the show today, Hannah. I can't wait to come and visit you at your Anam Cara Center. I just love that name.
Isn't that pretty? It's a book that's it's all about Irish blessings, and yeah, it's really neat.
Perfect. Yeah. I love the sound of the name, and then the meaning is even better.
Thank you. I can't wait, Nicole. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. And the Anam Cara Center it's downtown Issaquah, correct?
Yep. So it's just about like 2 blocks from the library. So right in Old Town Issaquah. I'm so excited. That was kind of my, you know, I wanted to make sure that, you know, that was the other part with the space, was like, I don't want to commute. I just want to live right up the road. And so I'm really excited about that.
Perfect. Well, we'll have links to everything on the website after the show, how to find the center, get more information about all of Hannah's amazing classes, NicoleMangina.com/podcast. Have a great week, everybody. Thank you for joining us, Hannah.
Thank you
We'll
so
see you next
much.
Tuesday.
Bye, you
Bye.
guys.
All right.